Conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good. So we are picking up in Safaria on 5-5-111. And I just got an envelope from Safaria that they're having a raising money campaign. And I'm sending them a nice check from the shul, from the account. And probably also send them a check from my own personal account because I use it a lot in the shul, and I think I use it a lot personally also to look up different things. And it's an amazing free resource, but we know nothing that's free is free, meaning that it does cost them to maintain it. So I would encourage all those who do make use of Safaria to have it in mind for a tzedakah donation. So in Safaria is 5-5-11, and in the Feldheim book, Duties of the Heart, page 536. Okay, up to the words Ve'im Targish. Okay, so and we'll be finishing up the fifth parak. I know either today or next week, and then the sixth parak is very short, and then we will have completed this Shar Yichud Hamase, which is a beautiful accomplishment, and we'll move on to the sixth gate after that, which is really really nice that we're moving through nicely. So far, the last jab that the Yetzer Hara had at us is don't fast. Yom Kippur is coming up. Well, Tzom Gedalia is coming up even before Yom Kippur. That'll be the day after Rosh Hashanah next week. Rosh Hashanah Tuesday, Wednesday. Tzom Gedalia is Thursday. It's not good for you. It's not good for you to fast. That's not healthy. You got to take care of your body, right? Oh, we had slichos at midnight this past Saturday night. You should be asleep. That's not healthy to be up. Carol, what were you doing up at midnight in the shul this past Saturday night? What's the matter with you? You need your sleep, right? Right, Melvin, I think you were there also. What's going on over here? This is not right, right? So all these things that when it comes to anything that's a mitzvah, I say, no, you have to be, you're not being careful enough. You've got to guard your health properly. And when it comes to Averas, then it says, all right, enjoy. Life is meant to be enjoyed. So therefore, enjoy. So, v'im targish lazeh, if you're feeling these sentiments are coming up by your Yetzer Hara, if these are thoughts that you're entertaining in your mind, Hashev alav, this is the response. He called tsar, every bit of tsar, of pain or anguish or difficulty or stress, shavar lecha b'mashik adam yemecha, that you've ever experienced going back in time, lo nishar mimenu b'cha'ot, right? There's no remnant, there's no lingering after effect. Achalaf mehera va'avar, right? It quickly goes away. So any right? Oh, you didn't eat for the day. Oh, you didn't get as much sleep, right? That's going to pass really quickly. Uscharo omed lecha la'olam. But the reward for anything spiritualized, anything holy, anything uplifting, anything godly that we do, well, if we're touching that which is godly, meaning we're touching that which is eternal, so then the after effects, the positive after effects of that are la'olam, are eternal. Lo yitom v'lo yichaleh. It will not end, it will not be finished. It is for all eternity. V'amitaneh, so you fasted. Kashiyatzom biyom, you fasted by day. Yocha b'layla, you'll eat at night. And then ki'ilu lo hitaneh, right? You get on the scale the next morning, right? It's ki'ilu lo hitaneh. It's as if you didn't fast at all, right? The body's able to bounce, very resilient. V'yashuve lav kocho, your strength will return to you. V'yishaer lo scharo shamor, but the reward, the change in you, that you spiritualize, you did this connection to eternity, that is shamor, that is guarded, that is locked away. As we say in sports, that's in the books, right? And that, well, we'll see, there's a way that you can lose that. We'll come to that soon. But basically, that is set aside and guarded for you. Right? You were up for part of the night. Okay. Kasher Yishan, so you sleep a little later the next day or take a nap Sunday afternoon. Yashuv lekalot gufo. You will return to that lightness, to that agility of your body. Uki'ilu lo nior, it'll be as if you didn't miss those few hours of sleep. However, so that will uh, disappear very, very quickly. Any loss. Yishaer lo gmul amdo uschar tfilato. But the fact that you got yourself up to come here at midnight, uschar tefilato, and the reward for that tefillah, for that prayer, la'olam. That is in the books. That is for all eternity. Aval inyan tzedakah, right? Also, how can you give away money? You might need that. You might need that. You're going to reach the point where you're no longer earning your salary. Whatever you have, and that's going to be slowly, slowly depleting. So how could you ever give tzedakah? Kvar bi'artiv. That I've already explained, he said, Bishara bitachon, in the gateway of bitachon that we did already, Be'er Heitev. We explained that well. And different ideas that we had over there is that when a person gets a certain payment, whether it's a salary, whether it's Social Security, whether it's pulling out of the IRA, whatever it is that one is doing, if one hasn't given tzedakah on that yet, so whatever is coming in, God is designating 90% for you, and 10% He's trusting you to use your discretion to give it to a good, proper tzedakah cause, be it an individual, be it an institution, whatever it might be. And therefore, on the contrary, it's not that if you hold on to that, you'll have more. If you hold on to that which is not rightfully yours, that will A, endanger the other 90%, and B, that will cause a slowdown or could cause a slowdown of future incoming, right? Because you're only supposed to get 90%. All right, so you owe a little bit on the cheshbon, on the accounting over there. Ach, inyan ha'aveirot, and when it comes to the enticements, when it comes to averot, to doing things that we're not supposed to be doing, sorek shetashiva libcha, there one needs to take the heart, the ta'avir machshvotecha, and really contemplate chalifot hanaotcha mehira, how quickly any pleasure that you have, how quickly that passes. Hamutar, whatever is extra, va'asur, or that which is prohibited, right? Hi, Esti, good to see you, right? How quickly that dissipates, right? There's we're at, are you in Safaria, Esti? Yeah, we're 551. You have it 55111, I think, or maybe started 112 already. I'm not sure, but right around there. Right? So a person needs to realize just how quickly any of those hanaot, how quickly those pleasures dissipate. V'tishaer cherpat hamegune mehen alecha v'naseh ba'olam hazeh u'va'olam haba. But the harm that we cause to ourselves, the buffer that we create between us and Hashem, the distance that we create, that is there both in this world and in the world to come. There's a beautiful teaching from the Beis Halevi on a Gemara in Sukkah. The Gemara in Sukkah says that in the time to come, God is going to bring this Yetzer Hara, this evil inclination, and he's going to slaughter it. It's going to be killed in front of everyone. And everyone's going to be crying. The tzaddikim are going to be crying, and the rishonim, the righteous and the not so righteous, will all be crying. The righteous will be crying and saying, this tremendous mountain, how did we climb it? How did we what's it called when you reach the very top? How did we summit this mountain? How did we manage that? And the Rishonim will say, this little hair, how did we trip on it? And the question is asked, this is talking about in the world to come. This is talking about in the world of truth. And at that point, how could there be this disparity? Is it a mountain or is it a hair? Which one is it? So how could there be this disparity in how this Yetzer Hara is presented? That the righteous see it as a mountain and others see it as a little hair. And the Beis Halevi explains as follows. He says, it all depends what is the vantage point through which we are viewing this Yetzer Hara. When we have a temptation to do something, then when it's in front of us, it's a tremendous mountain, and it seems almost uncontrollable, insurmountable. And the tzaddikim, the righteous, don't give in to their temptation. And therefore, to them, it really is a mountain. Whereas for everyone, for the Rishaim, they give in. So they are ex post facto, looking back. And when you look back, you realize that it's not all that it was beefed up, all that it was presented to be, right? Every physical, material, sensual pleasure that we have in this world, the anticipation for it is that much greater than the appreciation that we have after we have indulged in whatever it might be. And therefore the Rishayim, they both have a very true, accurate viewpoint. One is before giving into it, then it's a mountain. The other is after giving into it, looking back. And then it's like this little hair and wondering, how did I give in to it? So that's what one needs to keep. And the Beis Halevi says we see that from the very first sin, which was eating from the Eitz Hadas Tov Rav, eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That it was so beefed up. If you do this, you'll be like a god. It was so delicious. It looked so nice. It smelled so nice. It would taste so nice. It is so nice. And afterwards, what was it? It was not an apple, for the record, right? An apple it was not. That's Michelangelo. That's not any of our teachings. Some say it was grapes. Others say it was wheat. Some say it was a fig leaf. It was figs. Others say that it was an etrog. There might be another one that I'm forgetting. But those four are definitely in the running. Grapes, wheat, fig. Yeah. So the ones that say wheat, because it's the grains that allows a person's mind to develop. It's an Eitz Hadat, the tree of knowledge, right? The one that says that it is grapes, right? That is what brings simcha to the world, brings joy to the world. The one that says that it's a fig, well, that's the only tree that allowed them to take the leaves to cover themselves afterwards when they realized that they were naked. And the one that says that it's an etrog, right? So that's a very beautiful idea, that we were given the mitzvah of etrog in just a few weeks' time, or 3 weeks from today. We'll have the mitzvah of the etrog, the dalin minim, as a way of utilizing that and turning that around and using it for a mitzvah. But again, the idea to realize is that the pleasure is fleeting, but the effects are long-lasting, and to keep that in mind when we are faced by these temptations. Az yeh hayetzer nigaf lefanecha. Then the yetzer will be beaten down, right? Subdued from before you. V'techaratz l'masa tov, will have this energy to do the good things, v'tirapeh, and we'll be able to hold ourselves back, mikol masa meguna, from things that are not things that are, from things that are that should be condemned, that we don't want to partake of, that we don't want to be part of. Good. Okay. The kasher yevad sivrcha mimcha b'fanam ha'ela, and when it will lose its ability when it comes to these things. Just 1 second, sorry. You'll lose these things when it comes, if you lose these arguments. Vasita mashis kamtalav, and you've done that which you've agreed to do, mimase ha'avoda, in terms of serving Hashem properly, then yishtadel lachnis hada'agot bilibecha. Then he'll try to put some worries into your mind. Latmid alecha hayigonim, to make you feel sad about the things that you've done. Meaning, now that you've done it, okay, but maybe you shouldn't have, right? Maybe you should regret it, right? We had this in our Parsha class, how the death of Sarah came about immediately after, according to the sages, Rashi brings it, came about immediately after the Akedah, after the binding of Isaac. And therefore, it made it seem that it was the binding of Isaac that caused, her death. And therefore, the hope was that Avraham then might regret having done that. He might regret it, thinking that, oh, I shouldn't have done that because look what it led to, right? And therefore, the Yetzer Hara that we have after, actually we mentioned this in our evening Mariv Tefillah, we say Vaser Satan milfanenu ume acharenu, remove the Satan from before us and from behind us. What's in front of us? That's when we're tempted not to do something right. And behind us is after we've done whatever is right to do. So then we have this challenge of not regretting it. Because just like we're heading into now the Aseret Yimei Teshuvah, the 10 days of repentance, right? A time for Teshuvah. And we have an amazing concept that regretting something is able to erase it from the books, so to speak. Right? When we do Teshuvah, when we regret, there are 3 components to Teshuvah. We have to admit, we have to regret, and we have to resolve not to repeat. I always like to say, and it's the same way if someone does something, someone hurts you in a certain way, right? Their apology to you, right? Well, if they feel bad and they won't do it again, but they don't apologize, you're not yet fully at peace. They apologize and they won't do it again, but they don't feel bad about it, also, you're not fully at peace. They apologize, they feel bad, but they're going to do it again, also, you're not going to be fully at peace with that. So the teshuvah needs to have those 3 components. We have to regret it, we have to resolve not to repeat it, and we have to regret it, resolve not to repeat it, and we have to also regret and also apologize, confess, vidoy, as we do on Yom Kippur with our vidoy that we do, the tapping of our hearts. Yeah? So, just like that is able to make the action as if it never happened, or even can turn it into a zechut, can turn it into a merit, meaning if I have such a profound teshuvah, now I'm that much stronger, having gone through my stumble and my teshuvah, I'm that much stronger than I was before I ever did it. And that way it turns into a zechut, it turns into a merit, right? The idea of like hitting rock bottom, right? If a person didn't hit rock bottom, they never would have gotten themselves cleaned up and straight. But it's only because they would have just kept on puttering on. But because they hit that rock bottom, that's what propelled them to really turn themselves around. So teshuvah can even be considered a zechut, a merit. The aveira can be turned into a merit if we utilize it properly. But either way, if on the way of doing something negative, if teshuva, if I regret it, then it's as if it didn't happen. So then also when it comes, there's always what we call zeh l'umat zeh. There's always this balance in the world of the good and the evil. And therefore, so too, if I regret having done the mitzvah, so then that could also cause me to lose the reward, right? And if you might say, well, one second, why would I ever regret doing a mitzvah? Well, uh, I, I've heard people, that they've given time towards an organization and they didn't feel that they were properly appreciated. So what do they say? I never should have done it, right? Or they do a favor for a person and then the person is not properly appreciative. I never should have done it. Or you're driving and there's a person trying to get into the lane in front of you and you fulfill your Torah level mitzvah of chesed. Remember that. You can fulfill a Torah level mitzvah of chesed as you're driving by being a courteous driver who allows others in and signals or expresses thanks to those who let you in. My dad was very funny. My dad used to doff his kippah when someone would let him in. He used to doff his kippah to them as a way of showing thanks. Right? I just raised my hand and give a thanks in the rear view mirror. But he used to doff his kippah. I said, Dad, stop that. Right? Anyhow, right? So there are many, right? So let's say you let people in and then no one's letting you in. So then you might say, I wish I never let those people in, especially if it's the same person that you let in who's now not letting you in. I wish I never did it. Right? So it's not so far-fetched for us to have, that's my favorite English Yiddish word, far-fetched. It's not so far-fetched to have a mitzvah that you then regret having done it. So therefore, that's the next thing. Kadesha titcharet. He'll give you these thoughts, these concerns, the sadness. Kadesha titcharet. Amasha kadim l'cham min amasa hatov. You'll regret having done that which you previously did, a good act. V'yimanacha min agmul alav. And like we said, that can actually hold back the gemul. That can make you lose the reward. You wish you never did it. You wish it's as if you never did it. Right? As if God will and so God and then God will hold back from you, will accept that will, right? And and that which you would have gained from that act. If we look at a mitzvah as something that transforms us, so that we can understand that regretting the having done that mitzvah is also going to transform us, and it's going to undo perhaps that transformation that took place from our doing that positive act. And if you do a devar avera, mishtadel achnis hasimcha b'libecha v'hasason b'mashen lecha. There, the Yetzer has the opposite. He wants to make you really enjoy it. Oh, that was great. That was amazing. That was wonderful. Kedei shetitchazek b'davar v'techaretz aleha. In order that you'll become that much more convinced to do it and want to do it and repeat it and repeat it, right? There's a teaching from the Balei Musa, the ethicists, that even if you're going to do something wrong and you can't control yourself, don't enjoy it so much. Hold yourself back. Don't enjoy it so much. Ve'im targish letarmiotav, and if you will recognize these deceptions, these incitements, these convincings, v'tasim libcha l'minei mitzudotav, and you'll give thought, take heart the way he's trying to entrap you. Then you'll be very careful to be sure not to regret the good things that we do and not to overly enjoy the things that we're not supposed to be doing. Right? If we'll do that, the teyazer be'elokim, then you will get the help from God, lihinatzel mehem, to be saved from this. Right? This is a concept we have over and over. Haba l'taher misayinoto. A person wants to do that which is right, that which is good. The person gets pushed, gets helped in that direction. Vim lo targish lahem. But if we won't be sensitized towards this, yapilcha pitom, then a person can very quickly stumble and fall. V'yarik chitza v'cha b'feta, and so to speak, he'll shoot his arrows at you, right, in a surprise attack. Kamo she'amar, like the pasuk says in Mishlei, in Proverbs. We did this when we learned. I think the last thing we learned together was that Mishlei? Might have been. Right? When we did Proverbs and we didn't finish it, we certainly got this far. The pasuk says, "Ad yifalech chetz kvedo," before the arrow pierces the liver, right? And it goes on to say, it'll be like a bird, right? You'll be like a bird who sees these little grains on the ground, right? And thinks, oh, let me eat these grains, without realizing. The pasuk goes on to say, "Kamar tzipor al pach," like a tzipor, a bird, goes into the trap. Right? Those little drops of grain were actually a trap, and once it goes and eats that, and doesn't realize the lo yada, without knowing, ki benafshohu, that it's giving up its life by partaking of those few grains that are there in the trap. It goes for the grains, it gets trapped, it loses its life. That's what he's comparing us also when we go for those little grains of the pleasures of things that we're not supposed to be involved in. It's like little grains, but it traps us, and then we gain those little grains, but we lose a tremendous amount. V'imtamod kenegdo b'chol zeh, and if you will stand against him in all of this, v'lo yuchal lepatotcha, and he's not able to mislead you, to seduce you, to misguide you, yishtadel lecha mitzad chachmatcha, then he'll come at you, right, with your wisdom. Meaning, if he sees that you've got this drive, this real energy, lilmod hachachma, to study wisdom, to become a real, serious Talmid Chacham, a true scholar, a true sage, Yom Alecha, he'll say to you, halo yaspik lecha, it's enough. Masha maspik legadle dorcho zekeinecha. Right? You know as much as most of the people, right, know already. Right? Even though big people in your generation. Ladat Toratcha nemana. You know the Torah pretty well. Halo yadata, you know. Ki achachma ein la kates v'lo tachlit. Right? Torah wisdom, right? You can never get it all. Right? Right? It is one of the teachings that we have is that the measurements of the ark that was in the Mishkan, that was in the tabernacle, in the Mikdash, in the temple, it was 2.5 long by 1.5 high and 1.5 wide. And a teaching why the measurements of the Aron, of the ark holding the Torah, holding the Luchot and the Torah, were all half measurements, is that we realize that whether it's the depth, the length, the width of Torah knowledge, we'll never get there, right? Therefore, not like he's saying over here, not the Yetzer Hara saying, and therefore, why work so hard? But therefore, keep putting your effort in, because there's always more to learn, always more to understand. But he's taking a different approach. You'll never get it all, and therefore divert some, most of your energy, of your intellectual queries and thoughts. El Ikar Amuna, make sure you have the foundations, the basic principles of Emuna, of faith. Shoresh, have the foundations, the roots of the Torah. But after that, lamad, go learn mashetis dayen bo etzel b'nei adam. Learn the things that people will really respect you for, that people really value. Inyan hashir, music, maktsev, physics, whatever it might be, engineering, tzvoni adiktuk, the different languages, the finity of languages, hachidot and achriot, how to speak, right, riddles, right, be able to understand, read through Shakespeare and understand all the meanings over there. Vamishalim anoagim. That's where you need to put all of your efforts. Vanech and put down, let go of divrei hadinim, these different laws, umachloket achachamim bahem, and the different opinions to understand he says this and he says that, and why he says this and why the other opinion is that. Don't get down into the depths of Kabbalah. That's all beyond you. That's over your head. The Eichut HaDibor, U'nei HaKashot, and how to compare this teaching with that teaching, V'ofnei HaRayot, and proofs towards this. Right? Don't work so hard on that. The Eichut Hiluch Ha'ila Imam Olel, how this source leads to that conclusion. Don't trouble yourself. Hitchabrut hachachma hanirit im hachachma hanisteret. That's a fascinating study to see how the Kabbalistic, the deeper meanings, how that also interfaces with the simple meanings, right? For example, Lavan in the Torah, Lavan is not a very righteous fellow. The mother of Rivka, the brother of Rivka, tried to deceive Yaakov, right? Yet in the Kabbalistic terms, Lavan is whitening, is a purification. So how do we have that interface between the Nigla and the Nister, the Chachma Hanirit, that which is visible, the surface understanding, and the Nisteret and the hidden understandings? Then they amkam b'dakatin. That's too much. That's too deep. And therefore, the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, will say, put your efforts elsewhere. Don't tire yourself over there, right? As I would say to Natalie, don't bother your pretty little head about that. Deal with other stuff. V'smoch al anshe HaKabbalah, and rely on those who know it already. The mashtucha lamod al bruro, that which you can understand. Kasha tisvaleim b'mashunin mincha, right? You have to rely on people who are that much more knowledgeable than you for things that you're not going to understand. So therefore, rely on them also for that, right? So like we say, chill out, right? Don't get so involved. Don't work so hard. V'im lo tishmalo, and if you will not listen to him, v'tishtadel v'titchazek, and you put your effort and you work hard, Yore otcha b'chitzei hakina b'chaverecha. Then he'll shoot some arrows, the arrows of jealousy, against your friends. Meaning, im yagiu l'chachma mibaladecha, if you have some colleagues, some friends who are more knowledgeable than you, titor otam. So then you're going to harbor some animosity towards them. And you'll try to find things that are not so good about them. Yeah, that's the lure of speaking Lashon Hara. Why does it feel so good to gossip about others? Absolutely, Melvin. You'll send our very best. Right? Why does it feel so good to gossip, to speak badly about others? Because it makes us feel better. right? If they're doing that, then guess what? I'm okay. I'm doing pretty well, right? And this person, yeah, they might know more than me. Yeah, but they do this and they do that. I don't do that. So it's a way of building myself up, not by building myself up, but by lowering others, right? I could feel better than others, right? I can be higher than others either by working hard and lifting myself up, or I can do that by knocking them down. I stay the same, but they got knocked down. So that's the lure over here. That's the lure, the enticement of speaking lashon hara, and that's what they'll do. It's just mumim. You'll find things that are blemishes, literally things that are wrong about them. Ulafchitam, to diminish them. Uldaber bignutam, and to speak badly about them. Ki'ilu heim shalalucha binatcha, as if the understanding that they have more than you, it's as if they've taken it from you. They've plundered it from you. Vigazlucha chachmatcha, and they've robbed your wisdom. No, they worked hard, they got it. You do the same thing. But there's a temptation to go after them. And then conversely, right, and this is the idea that we have, that every situation that we find ourselves in has its challenges, has its temptations. So if they know more than you, the temptation is to drag them down, to find negative things about them. V'im tachakein mibaladehem, and if you are wiser than they, then what's the challenge that we have? Not to do the following. Yifchetu beinecha. All of a sudden you're going to say, this guy's a nobody. This guy's a lightweight. What does he know? Yifchetu beinecha. They'll become pachot, diminished in your eyes. Liyitrom binatcha, since you know and understand so much more than they do. V'tisnaim, and you'll have a certain you're going to just completely dismiss them, right? Even despise them. L'sichlutam, they're so foolish, they're so shallow, right? They just don't get it. V'tirazeh la'amei haaretz, right? And you'll consider them to be just completely ignorant. V'titka'eh l'nafshecha, but I'll feel pretty good, pretty high, pretty haughty, pretty high and mighty about myself. V'titalel b'chachmatcha, and I'll look for praise in my wisdom. Ad shetita'ein shata yodea, and then we get a little bit fat-headed, that you claim to know shata yodea, ma she'eincha yodea. You claim to know that which you really don't know, to understand that which you really don't understand, right? That you think you think you're there, but you're not there, or you feel you've got to present yourself as being there when you're really not there, right? And that's why that's what this leads to, that you try to make yourself more than you are. Shtayodea, to present as if you know, ma she'eincha yodea, that which you really don't know. V'yigveh ruchacha milimud, and you become haughty from your studies. V'yarum levavcha, 8 shetilmod, and therefore, once you get haughty while you're learning, so then, vatikos et sheyikshu alecha. Wait, I don't understand this. I'm having problems understanding this. So then, instead of having the humility to say, let me go over it again, let me go over it again, let me try to understand it, let me call somebody, let me ask somebody, let me go on to Safaria, maybe they have a good explanation, right? Right? Instead of doing that, you say, hey, if I don't understand it, right, so then whatever, I'm not going to put my time and effort into it. But tikutz 8, and you'll despise the times that you don't understand it. And you'll consider yourself to be a real chacham, a real wise person. V'titchabed b'sachal chaverecha, and when your friends make mistakes, v'titchabed, then you're going to get honor from that. You're going to bask in that when other people make mistakes. V'tizdayen, and you're going to gird yourself. B'achlim b'nei gilecha, when you put down, when you denigrate those who are right, who are like your group, that you have surpassed them. V'tiyeh sholel mimusrei hachachamim belokim, and therefore you end up making yourself into an empty vessel of all the musar, all of the personal growth and the midot and the ways that a person is supposed to act, that the chachamim, that the wise ones have taught us, are the way that we're supposed to act, the way we're supposed to relate to others, the way we're supposed to relate when we know more than others, how we're supposed to relate to those who know less than us, how we're supposed to relate to those who know more than us. Uvitorato, and Hashem's Torah. Torah is Torah, and Torah is instructions, right? The Torah has many, many guidelines, instructions on how it is that we're supposed to be acting and treating others in all these different situations. So every situation offers its challenges, offers its difficulties, and we have the ability to not fall, to not be entrapped in any of these situations. Okay, we didn't quite finish Parakeh. Next week we will. Next week, Monday night. Oh, no. Monday night is Rosh Hashanah. Yes, we'll be busy next week, Monday night. And the Monday night after that, we can meet. And then the next two Monday nights are going to be Yom Tov. So we are not on the 22nd. We're on the 29th. And then we will okay, that's good. So the 29th, we will finish this shar, this gate, and that way after Sukkot, we'll start the next one. Okay, Safaria, where are we?
55120.
5. We finished 120, we finished 119.
You finished 119.
Good, so we'll start with 120. Good. Okay. Steve, what page are you on?
540.
540?
Yeah.
Good. And Amnun Bet V'imlo Yushlam. Good. Okay. Good night, everybody. So see you all. Or maybe those who can join tomorrow morning. We have a Parsha class, either in person or online. And good night. See you all soon. Okay.
And I thank you.
Good night. Hello, Alex. Let me stop recording.